every year can be so different when it comes to music discovery. And music discovery is one of my favorite things. I love doing research and finding new things, digging into people's discographies. Just one of my favorite things to do in the entire world, and it's always so exciting to me to do that. And months ago, I just did a little like mini kind of like trilogy of going back and seeing. Since I got back on Apple Music this year, just seeing my playlists from previous years when I did have Apple Music, and just like the songs and artists that kind of like made up those years for me and my music discovery. And 2016, it was like the Pixies and MGMT, Sonic Youth, and then 2018 was more um, like Alice in Chains, 3 6 Mafia, the Smiths, like Death and Burzums, more like extreme metal, Entombed and stuff like that. That I was really getting into, and so on and so forth. But that's just like every year I like have something that I have artists that I dig into that didn't release albums like, and even just like the past 20 years even. But I just really like appreciate doing that stuff, and I feel like it would be kind of fun to make a video about all the albums that I got into this year that didn't come out in this year of 2024. And because honestly, these can be even more important than the actual albums that came out in the year of 2024. It's kind of like this list is kind of more important to me in a way, because I always usually end up falling in love with music more of um, from years past than like the actual year of. Because year of, I mean, you still have stuff that needs to grow on you, and if you find yourself going back to it in later years. And so I have 12 albums written down here. They're not really in any particular order. I just kind of wrote them down as I thought them in my head when I was trying to come up with some albums for this. And I have 12 here. I don't know if I already said that, but there's 12 on here, 12 albums. And I'm happy with this list and narrowed it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. Thursday, War All of the Time. Thursday is an artist that I got into years ago, mostly their album Full Collapse, and I absolutely fell in love with that album, and I still love that album very much to this day. It's just like really just an incredible kind of poppier screamo album, I guess you could say, that came out in the early 2000s. And I really enjoyed listening to this album quite a lot. And I hadn't really like, I think I had tried some of their other stuff at the time when I got into them, but it never really clicked with me. But now this album really has started clicking with me this year. I don't love it as much as Full Collapse, but I've been listening to this one quite a lot. And it reminds me of this year. It's actually been really recent that I started listening to this. My girlfriend Caitlin actually started really getting into Thursday a lot. And we've kind of been bonding over it a bit. And I wanted to just dig into some of their other stuff again. So I love getting into people's discographies and such. And I love going back. And that's been a thing this year, especially. It kind of shows that me going artists that I'd liked a particular album by, and then kind of trying to go back and listen to some more of their albums over the years. But this one is a big one, and I've been really enjoying listening to it, and I'm excited to keep listening to it and getting more familiar with it and be able to sing it just like I can Full Collapse. This Mortal Coil, Filigree and Shadow. This is a group I have known about for quite a while, but never really got into their sound as much. This is a kind of like kind of a super group that was created from the 4AD record label, and big in the 80s with like Cocteau Twins, That Can Dance, a lot of these post-punk and dream pop kind of groups. And I really just like, I actually found the record for this year. I was at my record store, and I had like a gift certificate from one of my friends for my birthday, and ended up buying this record. And I really started listening to it a lot, and I enjoyed listening to it. And I just like it. It's a cool, just kind of like ambience. There's a lot of ambient tracks on it, and it's just really kind of low key and just nice sounding. And it's just cool to finally kind of get into them a bit, so just like being interested in them, people praising them a lot in the underground. And yeah, I just had a good time listening to this year, and Really starting to appreciate this album. Controlled Bleeding, Songs from the Ashes. This is a group that I got turned on to this year, and this is the album that really kind of like clicked for me. It's like this very nice, like neoclassical dark wave kind of album here, and it just really intrigued me and just like grew on me a lot. And I started listening to this back in July when I discovered it, and I went on a trip with my dad up to New York, and I was listening to this a lot on the train. And then when I got back, I was listening to it a lot, like in the follow up to that. And I really just like kind of fell in love with it. It's like really love neoclassical dark wave sound, and it's been kind of hard for me to like find other artists that I really like within it besides Dick and Dance. And this group just kind of like pulled me in, and it just they're just like an interesting group that have like changed their sounds throughout the years. They like experimented with different things. Um, it's really just a cool thing to get into, and really excited about this group and to keep listening to this album in particular into the future. Dernier Volonté, Devant les Mineurs. This is a artist that I got on my radar actually probably like early last year, and I mostly just was intrigued by I think like his second or third album, Les Fous Sacrés. I think it was his second album. That was more just kind of like a dark ambient and like martial industrial kind of sounding album. But this album, it didn't really click with me on the first go around, but it really clicked with me this year. And this really just like is like his core kind of like military pop that kind of coined that style. That's just like this like unique, interesting kind of sounding poppy-ish music. Military pop's an interesting concept, I guess. And it was great, just like this clicking with me now, and it's just like kind of catchy and fun and interesting, and it's just like been fun to listen to, and really great artist, really interesting and fun artist, and I'm excited to keep listening to them as well. Sunny Day Real Estate Diary. I had heard of this group for quite a while, and like remembered seeing the album artwork like here and there over the years, just being into kind of emo music, and but I never really like listened to it, and it never really clicked with me much. But then I just ended up listening to it this year, and like really wanted to keep listening to it over and over again. And just a really great, just kind of the '90s Midwest emo sound on it, and I just think they did a really good job. A lot of catchy songs, fun to sing along to, and yeah, I just really liked its sound, and it was just a fun one I listened to a lot, especially in the early spring of this past year. And it's kind of come back here and there for me, and I'm excited to keep listening to it into the future. Title Fight, Shed. This kind of goes along with the last one, Sunny Day Real Estate. I used to listen to these kind of back to back and listen to them with each other. And Title Fight's not a band I'd really heard of until recently. I have a friend that kind of introduced me to them, and I just like the kind of the emo sounds that they create. And it's a more modern album actually. It came out in like the 2010s actually, but it kind of sounds like something that will come out in the 90s. And it's a pretty quick album, like 20 minutes long, but it's super fun. You can listen to it over and over again, and just really great, fun emo album. Billy Woods and More Mother, Brass. This is an album that I talked about actually in my best albums of the 2024 list, because I mentioned it in that because I was talking about More Mother and that list. And this is one that really just like intrigued me and really got me to just like dig into like just Billy Woods and More Mother in particular, like just dig into their discographies more. And I had known of Billy Woods for quite a while, but I'd never really like gotten into More Mother. And but I got really hard into Billy Woods' discography and listened to More Mother's it's quite often as well, and got very intrigued by her stuff. And I really like this album. It's really just really cool sounding, and just I feel like they complement each other so well, and just like have this cool atmosphere on it that I like so much, and just really just a big thing that will remind me of this year getting into this album. Discordance Axis, The Inalienable Dreamless. I had heard of I'd especially seen this album like recommended to me, like through my streaming and stuff over the years. But I never really listened to it too much or like have it really click with me. But I was just like getting more into like just like intense grind music like this year, especially early in the spring. And There's a band here called in Richmond called Rotwell that I like quite a lot. And they usually like cover a song by Discordant Axis after their set because it's very similar style of that grinds, brutal grind, fast power violence kind of sounding stuff. And It just like really clicked with me. I really love the vocals on this album, and just like it's a fast, intense, like short songs, and it just hits, and it's just so fun to listen to. And just like if you're pissed off or something, this is like the perfect album to listen to. Jesu, self-titled. Um, this is an artist I hadn't really heard about until this year either, and it's really interesting, kind of like post-metal sound. Like it has like this like I'm thinking about it right now. It makes me want to listen to it. Honestly, it's really just like a cool atmosphere that it creates, like mixing the shoegaze with the more like atmospheric metal sounds, and it just really clicked with me this year. And I listened to especially the first two songs. I listened to quite a lot when I was sunbathing. They were both like 9-minute long songs. So it was like perfect, like kind of accompany my sunbathing as well. And Really enjoyed this album. Just like love the atmospheric sounds on it, and I'm just a sucker for atmospheric music. And really happy that I came across this artist this year, and they're pretty well known in the underground by a lot of people, but I'm happy that I discovered them. Lathe of Heaven, Bound by Naked Skies. This album is actually just came out last year, so it's kind of close that I got into it this year, but it technically didn't come out this year, so I feel like it fits fine in this list here. This one that I found from another person's year-end list last year, and hadn't heard of them, and really started getting into them, especially like a very early spring, like late winter of this year, early in the year, and was listening to them almost every day, quite a lot. And I just really love just like they just did post punk so well. Like they have that kind of like style that Wire created back in like the late 70s. Kind of just the more harsher post punk kind of sound, like more punky post punk. But then they have like the nicer, like mellower songs, or melodic songs, and just like stuff more along the lines of like The Cure and such like that. And they just like this album is just so good, and just really love it, and pulled me in so hard, and it's just so fun and catchy, and just like has so many great sounds in it. Judas Iscariot, Heaven in Flames. Judas Iscariot is an artist I've been into for quite a while. Actually, when I first started getting into black metal, I discovered him pretty early on, and was mostly listening to his first two albums, The Cold Earth Swept Below and Thy Dying Light, and I really liked just like the raw, atmospheric sounding stuff. I just really was into like that style of black metal, and still really am into that style of black metal. It's still one of my favorite styles of music, honestly, in general. And He's an American artist, but they've definitely got a lot of like influence from the Scandinavian scene. And it was around the same time in like the kind of like the middle to late 90s that he started creating music. And but I'd never really like dug too much into his discography either, and I really started digging more into it. And people look at Heaven in Flames as like his best album. I'd heard that in the past, but I never really like listened to it for some reason. Just didn't really like it at the time or something. And But I just like really, I started listening to it, and I was like, man, this is just like such a great black metal album. It's just like done so well. It's like mixing this ambience with it so well. And I just really like it. It just sounds so nice, and just got really big into him this year again. And Reminded me of the fall times when I started getting into extreme metal music years and years ago anyways. So it fits so perfectly well, and I was really excited about that, and it's really just a solid black metal album. Words of Canada, GeoGaddy. And I definitely say, like I was saying, that these aren't really in any particular order. I'd say this order, it goes pretty well for like how excited I am about the albums. And but this definitely comes in at number one for me. It's just like my album of the year for like albums that didn't come out this year. And I just really just fell in love with this album, and just fell in love with Boards of Canada in general. I had listened to Boards of Canada, been intrigued by them in the past with especially their album Music Has the Right to Children, and I listened to that album quite a lot this year too. but GeoGaddy just really clicked with me, and I don't know why it didn't click with me in the past. Like it always just kind of like pulled me back and been intrigued by it, but then it just like it clicked hard, and I just wanted to listen to it every day, especially during the summer. And it really accompanied my New York trip with my dad very well. I was listening to it on the train ride there like multiple times, usually on the train, and it just like it just fit like the atmosphere so well. It's like going through like passing through these cities and stuff, and like just the music just sounded so great with it. There's like ambience, like kind of some like hip hop beats on it. Just like Boys of Canada is just like has this really cool electronic sound that I just really love, and I just like so grateful I finally got into this album. And I just like still find myself wanting to listen to it all the time, and I love Border Canada. They just have such like their music is just like a fever dream, just like kind of trippy, nostalgic sounding, and just like it just really pulls me in. I really love the sounds and soundscapes they create. It's just like incredible, and it'll always remind me of that trip I took with my dad, which was a very special time for me, and I just had a great time on that trip, and he had a great time. It was just like one of the best trips I've ever been on in my life, and very memorable. And I'm so happy that I got this album to go along with it because it's just so perfect. And man, I just love it so much. It's just incredible. But yeah, that's my list of the top non 2024 albums of 2024. And yeah, end of the video just like saying just please let me know down below like what you guys got into this year, albums that didn't come out in 2024 and that you really got into, or just artists in general that you really got into this year. And I don't know, I'm just like I'm just excited to hear. And I just love the music discovery process, and just like I'm excited for next year. Like this music gives me something to look forward to every single year. I know there's something I'm going to get into next year, whether it be new music, whether it be old music, and it's just always something for me to look forward to. It's one of my favorite things in the world, and I just love music so much. And yeah, and I really appreciate people who actually like like watching my videos and listen to me nerd out about stuff that I love so much, which mostly music. And yeah, just I love hearing from you guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. And yeah, I'll end out the video how I always do. Please support my friends on the side here if you can. Links in the description. And thanks for watching today, and I'll see you guys on the next one.